Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. My name is Rafael Portela. I'm here with Adam, Linda, and Vicky, and we are the Take Charge team. Before I begin, does anyone know what the word "cha" up top means?
T.
Well, that was easy. Uh, Now, one of the reasons we chose this topic is because our ProConnect client this semester is Rakuten Tea Company. They are a local company based here out of Dallas. They've been in business since November 2017, and their whole business model is they purchase teas or they purchase rare teas from post-conflict countries like Sri Lanka, Vietnam, Colombia, and their whole mission is to help empower those communities to achieve stability and economic growth by purchasing their tea and essentially exporting it to the world. For our agenda today, I'll talk a little bit about tea culture in Turkey. Then we'll move on to China, UK, Japan, and then a summary at the end. I'll start talking about Turkey. On the right-hand side, you see a picture. This is a tea farm in the town of Rice. It's on the northeastern seaboard, facing the Black Sea. And the temperature, the climate here, the altitude and all that is perfect for tea production. And it's where most of the tea in Turkey is produced. I wanted to point out some fun facts about tea in Turkey. Turkey is the fifth largest producer of tea in the world. They are only behind China, India, Sri Lanka, and Kenya. We know they're fifth largest producer. They're the top consumer on a per capita basis of tea. In 2017, on average, people consume almost 7 pounds of tea in Turkey, followed after by Ireland at almost 5 pounds per person, and then the UK. I wanted to point out here on the left-hand side corner, that's Rice. That's where the majority of the tea is produced. Now, I went out thinking, why is tea such a big thing in Turkey? So after World War I, when the Ottoman Empire fell, they Turkey lost the regions in the country that produced coffee, and then it was very expensive to import coffee into the country after the war. So they decided to just, they had the land, they had the know-how, so they decided just to move to tea, and since then it's been growing. Moving on to some tea culture. Tea in Turkey is brewed using a double stacked teapot, as you can see in those pictures here. The top teapot, it's filled with hot water and loose leaf tea. The bottom teapot is only filled with water. This is done so that you can either drink your tea strong or a little bit lighter. If you want it strong, you just serve tea from the top pot. If you want it a little bit lighter, you serve from the top pot and just add water to your liking. It is typically served in tulip-shaped glasses, as you can see in the right-hand corner. This have been, the past century, people have been using these. They're consumed. Every household in Turkey has some of these, and nobody knows how people start using these, but they like it because they can essentially, admire the color of the tea and kind of appreciate it better. Apart from being served in a tulip-shaped glass, it's typically served with 2 cups of sugar, as you can see here. 2 cubes of sugar, sorry. Milk is never added to the tea. Lemon may sometimes be added. And this is very different to what you will see in the United Kingdom in future slides. Offering tea and drinking tea together is a form of, sorry, offering and drinking tea together is a form of, a gesture of friendship. And in the country, it's legally mandated to have at least 2 tea breaks during any working day, typically in the morning and in the afternoon. They also have tea gardens, where there are social venues where people come together, spend time together. They exchange town gossip over tea. You have children playing around. You have music playing in the background. People are playing board games. It's a social environment, which is different from some other places like Japan, where it's more of a zen place, more calm. So the difference in tea cultures. And with that, after going from a country that you probably didn't know consume a lot of tea, we're going to go to China, sorry. Linda will go to China to go over that.
Thank you, Raphael. And as as my teammate Raphael mentioned, that tea is the biggest tea producer in the world. So I'm thinking I'm not the picture in here is very ancient art painting and showing that two gentlemen drinking tea together. So like we are drinking. Chinese people are enjoying drinking tea with their friends. And the tea appeared in China as early as 5,000 years ago, and during that time, actually, we just boil the tea leaves straight from the tree. We don't go through any process, and it's not as much as popular in the modern days. And after 2,000 years ago, Tang Dynasty, the tea became popular and famous. Then people started to go through some process and produce some green tea, black tea. There comes some started the type of teas. And then the, drinking tea in China actually we are serving tea to our guests. This is a picture of the Chinese President Xi serving tea to the Prime Minister, former British Prime Minister Theresa. To show the warm welcome is a Chinese social courtesy. And this is the main types tea in China. Actually, the funny fact in China is we actually have a tea schedule. We usually drinking green tea in the morning and black tea in the afternoon because the green tea contains more caffeine than any kinds of teas. So we're drinking green tea in the morning and black tea in the afternoon, and maybe some flower tea during the evening, which which is caffeine free. And for Chinese tea, we don't add anything to the teas. We just enjoy the original flavor. And I want to share something about the Chinese tea set. Because we're drinking tea every day, so how about drinking tea instead? So we invent lots of tea sets and kind of collect them as a hobby. Yeah. So that's all for my part, and Vicky gonna introduce the tea in British.
Okay. Would you like a cup of tea? It is often the first thing you will be asked when you come to someone's house in Britain. Yes, we are a nation of tea lovers. And tea was an originally upper class drink. And it became a drink for everyone in the 18th century and has stayed ever since. And unless you are asked which specific tea you would like, you will be given the standard English breakfast tea. And it often comes with milk and the optional sugar. This is this is referred as builder's tea. It takes its time. It takes its name after inexpensive tea drunk by laborers taking a break. And a builder tea is always brewed into a mug with milk and sugar is added. This is very typical in Britain, and it is commonly served with a slice of cake, a biscuit, or a sandwich. And there are four main types of tea in Britain: black, green, oolong, and white. Black tea is the most popular, and green tea is following popular for many people. Also, there are some urban fruit tea. These are caffeine free and have some health benefits. They can be great for evenings if someone doesn't want caffeine before bedtime. Moreover, iced tea is not common in Britain. In America, iced tea is the standard, but in Britain, tea is served hot. We mentioned British tea culture. The first impression will be the afternoon tea. It refers to a British tradition of enjoying a pot of tea with a selection of small cakes, sandwiches, or scones. And traditionally, it was used to be an everyday event, but nowadays it is likely to be a treat in a hotel, cafe, or tea shop. And And in Britain, a cup of tea is the answer to every problem. It is similar to the hot water in China. Because for many British people, a cup of tea may smooth these situations which are stressful, exciting, or terrible. Okay, next Adam will introduce the tea in Japan.
Alright, so closing it out, so we're going to talk about tea in Japan. So, first off, I'd like to introduce the types of tea that people tend to enjoy in Japan. So the first off is hojicha, which is it's a roasted green tea. So this one is popular either hot or cold. Next is rokucha, which is a green tea, also popular hot or cold. And then we have black tea, which is gocha. And I have a quick question for the audience. This here, for Chinese speakers, what character, what does that mean?
Red.
It means red,
Yeah.
right? So that always confused me for the longest time in Japan. It's like, it's called red tea, but then actually the English name is black tea, so it threw me off forever. So next, another popular one is roasted tea with rice. So this is genmaicha, and you can see in the picture here, there's actually pieces of rice in it, and it will float in the bottom, and it's quite good. Has kind of a smoky taste to it. Next is oolong cha, also popular in China. And then finally, mukicha, which is barley tea. And barley tea is something that people drink all the time. Like, it's an anytime tea. And it's especially popular in the summer to have it iced for those hot summer days. Now, there's one tea up here that is kind of missing. Very popular, well known in Japan. People make smoothies and ice cream out of it. Can anybody guess what that might be? Sorry?
Matcha.
Matcha. That's right, matcha.
Matcha.
So matcha is not up here, but it is in this picture here. So the difference between rokucha and matcha is how it's prepared. So rokucha is a leaf, whereas the matcha is more of a powder, and because it's powder, it gives it more of a thicker taste to it. So going from matcha to the tea ceremony, chado. So matcha is typically prepared in the chado tea ceremony. This is what people typically think about, I think, when they think about tea in Japan. So it's really a ritualized way of preparing and serving tea, and it was really popularized in the 14th century. But these days, it's not really practiced anymore. It's more of a formality or kind of an art, right? So finally, closing on Japan, how was tea enjoyed? So, like Raphael said, it's a social drink, but more of a conversational drink. So if you want to go to the park and throw around the football, like in Turkey, the drink for that is beer in Japan. People also enjoy it at work. And then on the go. So you see this scene all over the place in Japan, probably pretty similar in China. Tea, just rows and rows in convenience stores. And then finally, one thing that really surprised me is tea is even popular for babies. So here you can see it says from 1 month old. So babies can enjoy tea from 1 month old in Japan. Really shocking for me, quite normal. And it's caffeine free, so it also helps with digestion. So just in summary, we talked about tea in Turkey and China, the UK and Japan. I hope you learned something today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Any question from anyone in the audience?
Yes.
The cups that are traditionally used in Turkey, they look like they don't have handles. Is that correct?
Yeah, they don't.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah. So how do you hold? I mean, so the cups in China, yeah, those are thick, right? But the glass, wouldn't it be
So
too hot to?
So it's typically served on top of like a round plate. So
Okay.
you pick up a plate, and then if you notice, you can go back. They don't typically serve it to the top, so you have to pick it up from the top.
Oh. Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that,
So
Minna.
then, do children drink tea commonly in Turkey also? And are they given like a different cup then?
Yeah. So you can see the rim on this one. Like there's some space left. Yeah.
Huh.
It really shouldn't get hot. Children drink tea. That's a great question. I can do more research and come back to you.
No, I know.
I would imagine
I just
that,
like
yes.
imagine a kid with a cup like that would
Oh,
not be a
definitely
good.
not.
Maybe not.
They typically have it in glass tulip-shaped glass cups, or I don't know what they want to call this. But they call this to be made of porcelain and some other materials. And I'm sure for kids, maybe plastic or.
Yeah, something a little safer.
Yeah.
Great catch. I didn't even think about that, but you're right. There's no handles on there. Any other question?
Yeah.
Yes, Justin.
Okay, yeah, the UK one with milk in tea. Where did that come from?
I found some materials. That sounds the British emperor take the tea customer from China, but I don't know why they add the milk. I think maybe from how to say
Western
South,
cultures, maybe?
West South Europe, I think.
Well, throw India.
Do you put milk in India tea also?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's just-
That could be. I wonder. Yeah, and well, India and England have a lot of influence on each other because it's some of the.
Ruled us for 200 years.
Exactly.
But in some Chinese places, they also put milk in the tea.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's something.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so who had was this one yours, Jason, or was this Minna? I can't remember. Were you doing tea culture or was Jason? Okay, what thoughts on the presentation?
I really liked that y'all had memorized. I didn't see many, like very rarely did anybody even look at the slide except to move on at the right time. That was impressive. The concept was interesting. Some of your font choices were a little small, made it a little hard to read at times just with the amount of information you had. But I mean, you said most of the important information, so that wasn't as big of a deal.
Mhm. Okay, that's good. Who was it? You, Ty?
This one.
Yes. Okay. Thoughts?
Yeah. So Raphael went first, and I was going, man, he's killing it right now, and I don't know how anyone else is gonna follow. And every single person followed to the same level, so it was awesome. The execution of the delivery was great. Just completely solid the entire way through, and everybody had a balanced portion. The only criticism I can give is that you might want to add a little bit of energy, humor, flair to it. Otherwise, there's absolutely zero significant weaknesses. Like it's really like a solid presentation. You can present this way to just about anybody. You get the message across.
Oh yeah.
So well done.
Good. Thank you. Jung, was this one yours or was this Mariana's?
It was mine.
Okay, Mariana.
I agree with the presentation. I mean, all four of you had just a great voice level, very confident in your presentation. And I like on the visual presentation, the combination of the pictures and the facts because you could visualize the points that you were saying.
Okay, sounds good. Jasmine, anything you want to add? And I'm putting her on the spot, but.
I liked how y'all interacted with your visuals. So like the pictures weren't there just for like to fill up space, but you actually like used it in part of your presentation. So that was good.
Okay, so overall, I think it's a great presentation. I learned something, especially about Turkey. I had no idea that they were such a large producer, but also I didn't know they were the #1 consumer of tea, so I was very shocked by that, huh?
Per capita.
Per capita. Yeah, but still, per capita. Yeah, if you take each person, the amount that they're drinking, not necessarily, I mean, obviously China's a lot bigger, right? Yeah, no, but per capita, yeah, thank you for that clarification. But yes, if you look at just the amount of tea each person from Turkey consumes, I was very shocked by that. So I thought that was really good. I agree with the other comments. I felt like all of you have really good strengths at presenting. I like that you kind of moved to the front. The only things that I would encourage is like right now you're all kind of spread out more evenly for part of it. There were like 3 over here and 1 over here. Yeah, I like it better when it's kind of spread out, and a lot of the teams were kind of doing that. I mean, when you have 3, that's harder to do, but with 4, maybe 2 on each side kind of spreads it out, makes it a little more interesting. I felt like the content was good. It's very relevant to the topic you're doing in the course. Let me see what else I had. I really liked the Japanese words there and you using the Japanese words. I thought that was very, very interesting to see that. And let me see. There was one slide that was really hard to read, which was slide 4, and when we went over it before class, I didn't have a problem because I was a lot closer and I had my glasses on. But I feel like you talked about it enough that, and you kind of pointed out the relevant parts, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But if I were redoing this, I'd probably maybe put the big one on consumption per capita separately, and maybe put those other two a little bit bigger. May have made it a little bit easier to read. But again, you didn't have a lot of time to put this and prepare this, and you were doing unique content, so that can make it a little bit more challenging. The only thing that I think I would have liked for this would have been maybe, like, if I were going to China, or if I'm going to Japan, or if I'm going to UK, what should I expect? Do you sit down? How do you have the tea? Does someone, who serves who? You know, what, is there a ritual there? Is there, you know, maybe a little bit more on that part of it would have been helpful for me. Like, do you have to sit in a certain place? Do you, you know, how does that part of it go? So maybe more of a, like, almost a how-to. How would you go into a tea ceremony in Turkey? How would you go into a tea ceremony into China? How would you do it here? How would you do it? What are the differences? Y'all talked a little bit about that. Like, sometimes there's milk, there's always sugar in Turkey, but, you know, maybe a little bit more about that actual ceremony would have been helpful for me. But other than that, I feel like it was good content. So thank you guys so much. Okay.